Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We need to get into what is going on with AMC stock. I mean, it's been a while since AMC was up 11.57% in regular trading, up another 1% in after hours trading on Friday. How long can this continue? Is there momentum here to continue to rally? If you guys have not seen the last video I put out, I recommend you guys do. I talk about AMC stock going to about $20 per share at the bare minimum. At least that's my personal opinion. So I will build on that a little bit more here in this video. Hopefully that provides you guys maybe a little bit of optimism, but don't be delusionally optimistic. Anything can happen with the stock, and this is far from a recommendation to buy, sell, trade anything in terms of AMC stock. I am not a financial advisor. I don't know what's going to happen. Unfortunately, I'm not a fortune teller. If I was, well, I would give you guys the fortune, but we've been wrong for a while, so keep that in mind. But I do think, infamous last words, this time is different when it comes down to AMC stock for a couple different reasons that I think a lot of people are overlooking, that certainly the masses are overlooking. And it's one of those moments in time that I see. You know, you don't want to jump on a trade when everyone else is already in it. Okay, that's just not a good, even FOMO strategy. You don't want a FOMO at the top. You don't want to get into a trade at the top. Right now, it's quite the opposite with AMC stock, and I think there's a lot more that could come. So I want to get into that. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. Number one, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, a really good weekend. At least that is the hope out there. Let me know what you guys are doing for your weekends down below in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about AMC stock. Is this encouraging to you? Is this just another BS kind of fake out rally? Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. So first things first, let's get into it. I want to build on exactly what I just said. Again, number one, I would truly say this is number one. There's not a lot of attention in AMC. There's not a lot of people that are excited about AMC. There's just not, okay? A lot of people are still in AMC, but a lot of people that were trading AMC on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, they're not anymore. It's kind of off their radar, and for justifiable reasons. I mean, look at the treasury yields. Look at what is going on in the markets. Certain areas of the markets are not great. I mean, this is a bear market. So there's not a lot of optimism around AMC, around certain speculative sectors, hype sectors. So a lot of those traders have since left. These are really your FOMO guys, these guys that jump into whatever is hot at the time. So that's important to point out, because AMC stock, if you're taking a position right now, you at least, at the bare minimum, if it works out or not, you know right now you're taking a position at the best possible time. Once you're first getting confirmation of a breakout, there's a little bit more confirmation we need for a really big breakout. We'll get into that here in just a second, but you could feel pretty confident you're not buying AMC stock at the top, right? You're not getting into this trade at the top. So if it does run, you're in the best possible position now watching this video to make the most out of it. And some of those options on Friday went up 1,000+%. So yeah, don't sit here and tell me there is no money to be made with AMC, because we're going to be doing it here in this upcoming week, especially if it's as bullish as I expect it will be. Link down below in the description of this video for the trading community. And just message me over there if the link doesn't work. It's supposed to automatically send. We've had some issues in the past with that. Just message me over there if it does not come through, and we'll go ahead and get you taken care of so you can come join us over there. But nonetheless, that's neither here or there, okay? If you take a look at this further confirmation that I just alluded to, it's really breaking above this long-term downtrending line, and it's not too long-term, I guess, in the grand scope of things, from 2022, from May of 2022, so a little bit over a year. I guess that's a decent amount of time. You're basically connecting the lows, the low that you've seen back here in May, the low that you've seen back here in January of 2023, and now you're connecting the low basically down here, right? And you've been under that. And this has been kind of a demand level. You really haven't fallen too much under this line. You've kind of just been pinned here for a while. So at the bare minimum, you should know, I mean, I'm not a financial advisor, anything can happen, right? As long as the fundamentals don't deteriorate, it looks like $7 per share is probably your downside. Now, if the markets fall apart, if all hell breaks loose out there in the economy or whatnot, then sure, okay, let's not be ignorant here. AMC stock could go under $7 per share. It's not this all elusive creature that cannot fall. It's not a magnificent seven, if you will. AMC stock could fall. But if you were going to fall, you probably would have broken that new low. You hit the low of $7.05 on September 11th. A lot of pain has happened in the market since then. You've seen a lot of downside. I believe the S&P is off like 7% from its highs that you've seen in 2023. And you were above your $7.05 low. So I think that's a pretty safe assumption. You really need to break above where this line currently is, about $9.50 per share. If you break above that and get a close above that, that is really, really good news. That's exactly what you want to see. Then you start to look for $20 or $30 or $40 or $50. We could get back to the same level that we were at not too long ago. That's a very real possibility, especially if things like earnings start to come in and whatnot. It should be a little bit easier to, I should say, after the reverse split, to actually show a positive EPS number. So we'll see what happens with that, but I do think there's probably positive things to speak of for company earnings, for fundamentals, rather than negatives at this point. And hopefully, dilution's always going to be a risk hanging over our heads, but I doubt AMC is going to dilute shareholders at these prices. Yeah, once you get to like $20, $30, $40 per share, maybe, but at that point, a lot of the times, dilution's not enough in and of itself to just utterly destroy a rally. It can temporarily, but a lot of the time you do see a real bounce back from those events. So that's number one. Just psychologically speaking, again, let's highlight this. You're not buying AMC stock at the high. You're buying AMC stock close to the lows. So theoretically, even if we fall back down to the lows, you risk losing like $2.33. Okay. The risk to reward looks really good with it when AMC could go to $20, $30, $40, $50 or potentially even higher than that. And you potentially stand to lose like $2 and some change if AMC goes back to its lows, which the markets have been very bearish over the past, month or so, and you still haven't broke through those lows that you set over a month ago. So I think that's looking pretty good. On a long-term technical basis, again, we're like 20 cents away from getting further confirmation. If you break out above this line, that's what I mean by further confirmation. That would be really good. Now, even on a more statistical basis, if you look at the put to call ratio, I've talked about this many times now, but even again, the put to call ratio, we're getting a new number here, is 0.75. So there is now more calls than puts on the option chain for your expirations. Now, when the put to call ratio was roughly where it was now, you were able to see big rallies in AMC, 100+% rallies. When the put to call ratio spiked and really went absolutely crazy, gotta love it, went absolutely crazy, you didn't see any rallies really. Like AMC stock just kind of traded sideways and ultimately trended downwards. And that was when the put to call ratio was like the 1.7, 1.5, 1.8. Well, now there's been a complete sentiment shift. And this is one of those things, along with, again, you're not buying at the top. People are starting to change and get pretty dang bullish on AMC. This is a lot of your institutional guys, right? Your hedge fund guys. This is not retail traders that were super bearish buying a bunch of puts and now they're buying a bunch of calls. That's not it. This is your big money that is changing sentiment. So this change of sentiment, it's happening right now. And you're on the forefront of this. You're watching this happen every day. We talk about this. We've been talking about this. This is another reason why I do believe a rally is coming ultimately. Because when you switch from bearish to neutral, you tend to go to bullish after that. So we'll see what happens with the put to call ratio. It continues to slide, come down lower. That is a good thing. As of even the last video we put out here on this channel, the put to call ratio was 0.79. So it's now 0.75. It's coming down at a very aggressive pace. Maybe there's some news that a hedge fund institution, market maker knows. Maybe not. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But there's a reason for that. And probably because you've hit your low, right? $7 per share. As long as something crazy doesn't happen out there, fundamentally speaking, you've probably hit your low for AMC. I think that's a pretty fair assumption to make. Now, if you take a look at the short interest numbers, then you'll be a little bit disappointed. Now, I fight myself with this one, because we can't prove what I'm about to say, but I think the short interest is probably a lot higher than that. Obviously, I think a lot of people are in that camp as well. If you take a look at the estimated short interest of free float, that is at 12.12%. I get it. AMC is just diluted, shareholders. There's the float's a lot larger. The question is, did that float get shorted? Those 40 million shares, did they get shorted or did they get bought? There's really only two things that can happen there, right? You either short it or you buy it. So what happened? Well, probably a little bit of both, but I would imagine you did not watch your short interest go from, 30% we were at, almost 30% on the legal short interest, down to 12. So I don't believe these numbers are accurate. I do believe there's a lot of ways hedge funds, institutions, and even market makers can cover up those short positions. A lot of that has to do with the option activity. And I do believe the short interest is a lot higher than what these numbers are. And wow, that's the craziest thing you've ever heard, right? We've talked about this for like 2 years now. So I do believe you're kind of coming to an head here when it comes down to short interest, when it comes down to shorts in short positions. And just seeing some hedging here on a massive short position can give you potentially 100+% rally. Now shorts covering, now that could give you the MOAS. So who knows ultimately which way this thing does go. I think it comes down to a lot of different factors that we're obviously talking about here in this video. So there is that. We highlighted the option activity. We highlighted the increased bullish fundamentals, technicals. Again, earnings is going to be a big one as well. If AMC can turn another profit, that's going to be colossal for the stock. We highlighted on the fact that if you're currently trying to trade this, AMC stock is not trading at the highs. It's trading a little bit off the lows. It needs a little bit more confirmation, like I said, above $9.50 per share. That's where things get a lot more exciting for AMC, especially if you close above $9.50 and then ultimately $10. That sets you up for a long runway of potential upside. The last thing that really has me convinced that a rally is coming is kind of what we just said. But if you're looking at this from a short perspective, the risk reward is very, very poor. As I'm sitting here and saying the risk reward looks good. It looks good to be taking on a position right now long on AMC. It's the opposite if you're short, right? What, AMC falls $2.30 back to $7? Maybe it falls to $5. Okay, you make $4 and some change. What if AMC goes to 20 or 30 or 40 or 50? So that's important because you are about to be heading into a new year, and that changes things a little bit with hedge funds and institutions because you have clients. You're not investing for yourself. You're not a retail investor. You're a hedge fund. You're investing for your clients. So you can't make those kind of, or you shouldn't make those kind of risky decisions when your risk to reward ratio gets way out of balance like it has right now. It makes sense to cover on short positions. It really does. And when you're heading into a new year, then it makes even more sense to get that off your books, take whatever profit or loss that you might have. Again, I say loss too because cost borrow fees were like 1,000% for like years. So I'm sure a lot of these hedge funds still have some losses. At this point, they're just trying to be a little bit too greedy to push down AMC stock even more when, it's probably not going to happen at this point. I strongly believe you have seen the lows. So the calendar year starting, the new fiscal year just started on October 1st. October 2nd was the first trading day of fiscal year 2023. So I do think there is seasonal momentum here with AMC stock. Again, a lot of this comes down to what happens in the markets as well. AMC doesn't tend to do fantastic when stocks are falling in general. But I do think these are very strong reasons to be long in AMC right now that makes the risk reward look really good. And, the most beautiful thing about this is I don't even want to buy shares at this point. Shares are obviously your safest bet, quote unquote, but you can buy some of those long-term options, like 2026 options, for pretty dang cheap. If you do get that big move, you can make thousands of percents on those. So that's obviously not a recommendation. That's what I'm looking at. That's probably how I'm going to trade this beast coming in the next week. If you guys want to come get access to all of my trades in real time every time I make a trade, link down below in the description of this video. If you guys have not signed up for Webull, I don't know who hasn't, but if you have not, go ahead and get yourself some free money. It's like 12 free stocks if you guys sign up, deposit a single dollar. Literally free money, so you guys might as well go ahead and do it. Link down below in the description of this video for that link, as well as the link for the trading community, guys. So that is going to go ahead and do it for this video. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. Let me know how your weekends are going and what you think about AMC stock. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.